Okay.
Well. Happy Thursday, Junior, everyone. Welcome to the Joy Reid Show. Big ups to everyone who is tuning in, wherever you're tuning in, YouTube, Substack, Facebook, our Twitchies on Twitch. We love you, Twitchies. Hey, Twitchies, throw your hands in the air and wave them like you just don't care. Big up to everybody in the chat. The chats are already cooking. Big up to all the lemon heads. We know that there's a crossover. So if you are a lemon head, throw a lemon inside of the chats. Let us know that you're there. We appreciate each and every one of you. Big up especially to our Team TJRS members. Oh, our chat this month is going to be a lot of fun. We got to figure out like if we want to do a subject chat, a topic chat. We're still cooking on what it's going to be, but we've got a Team TJRS insiders only chat coming up for Black History Month. And we've also got something else special coming up for Black History Month. I'll tell you about in a second. But of course, tonight, with 3 days to go before Valentine's Day, we finally have her here in our grasp. The one and only Miss Mattie J will be here tonight to answer your love questions. So thanks to everybody who sent your questions in. We did get many more questions than we can possibly answer tonight. So we picked from among the best and most representative ones. So stick around to see that. And as Jason just like semi-teased for you, we're not going to actually
That was a mistake.
That.
I didn't mean to do that.
That's okay. It's okay because we've got something else special. We did one, participant. We love to get like user participation. We love for viewers to participate. So we've got yet another viewer participation opportunity. This is going to be great. A super panel. Now you can put it up, Jason, for Black History Month, which is coming up it's going to be airing on February 20th. Michael Harriot, who is the author of the serial New York Times bestseller, Black AF History. He will be joining us. He's going to be at the top of the program to answer your unknown Black history questions. So if you've got questions, you're like, did they really do that? Did Black people really invent that? Anything you have, any questions you have about Black history, he's the guy to answer them. So Michael Harriot will be here for the first hour. The second hour, we are adding to the panel two great young historian voices, Garrison Hayes and Megan the Baroness will be a part of that. We're really excited about it. Some of our other young historian friends that were not available, like traveling, couldn't do it. We'll bring them in for other programs. I know we have a lot of other friends that we love that are out there doing history stuff. So we'll bring other people in before Black History Month is out. But that's going to be really exciting. So the way that you get your questions in, if you have a question about Black history, even if it's something like you're not sure if it's true, you've heard this about Black history, you think it might be true, you want it verified, just any question you have about Black history, send them in to blackafhistory@thejoyreidshow.com. blackafhistory@thejoyreidshow.com. No question is a bad question. No question is a dumb question. Ask your questions and you're going to get answers from some of the smartest people in the entire universe. Okay. So let's get to some news on today. The House Judiciary Committee called Department of Injustice Chief, Attorney General, and very enthusiastic Trump super defender, Pam Bondi in this morning. And let's just say the hearing was super spicy. It started with Representative Jamie Raskin laying waste to Pamela Joe.
Department of Justice into Trump's instrument of revenge. Trump orders up prosecutions like pizza, and you deliver every time. He tells you to go after James Comey, Letitia James, Lisa Cook, and Jerome Powell, the head of the Federal Reserve Board, and members of Congress like Adam Schiff, Mark Kelly, Alyssa Slotkin, Chrissy Houlihan, Jason Crow, Chris Deluzio, and Maggie Goodlander, to name a few, and you snap to it. You replace real prosecutors with counterfeit stooges who robotically do the president's bidding. Nothing in American history comes close to this complete corruption of the justice function and contamination of federal law enforcement. And the good news is many serious lawyers at DOJ, including some of your own original employees, have refused your lawless. Danielle Sassoon, your original pick for acting U.S. resigned rather than follow your corrupt order to quash an indictment against Mayor Eric Adams, a political favor from Donald Trump. A Federalist Society member who clerked for Justice Scalia, U.S. Attorney Sassoon refused to participate in this blatantly corrupt scheme. Her top assistant, Hagan Scotton, an Iraqi war vet and two-time Bronze Star recipient who clerked for Chief Justice Roberts, and then Judge Kavanaugh, promptly resigned too, writing to your office, quote, I expect you will eventually find someone who is enough of a fool or enough of a coward to file your motion, but it was never going to be me. You and the president nominated Eric Siebert, a 15-year career prosecutor, to be your U.S. attorney for the Eastern District of Virginia. But after 5 months of investigating Letitia James and James Comey, he found no evidence to justify criminal charges. So you forced him out. You replaced him with Lindsay Halligan, Trump's personal lawyer from the Mar-a-Lago documents case, who had zero prosecutorial experience and no qualifications. And then you were humiliated when a federal judge found that this corrupt appointment was blatantly unlawful and threw out Halligan's indictments entirely. And grand juries of American citizens have repeatedly rejected your vendettas and baseless indictments brought by the hacks left at DOJ now, with 2 different grand juries in Virginia voting down indictments against Letitia James in a single week. And just yesterday, another grand jury shut down your vendetta factory by rejecting indictments against the 6 members of Congress who had spoken out to remind all service members that they have a duty to refuse illegal orders. You tried to get a grand jury to indict 6 members of Congress who are veterans of our armed forces on charges of seditious conspiracy simply for exercising their First Amendment rights. I hope you will heed the wisdom and the constitutional patriotism of those grand jurors and not try it again by doubling down on that humiliation. As your best lawyers are sacked for having participated in the January 6th case, or just flee for the exits now, your new lawyers keep lying in court. In dozens of cases, they've been excoriated for lying to federal judges. Chief Judge Boasberg, right here in D.C., suggested your Department of Justice perpetrated a fraud on the court. Other judges found your statements to be, quote, inexplicably misleading, patently incredible, totally inconsistent, and so disingenuous that the court is left with little confidence that the government can be trusted to tell the truth about anything.
Yeah, so there we go. It was an opening of, pretty huge opening. And Jamie Raskin was just one of the people on the Democratic side who laid into Pamela Jo. After that, after Raskin was finished with her, Representative Pramila Jayapal of the great state of Washington State, she tried to wring some humanity out of Trump's chief legal henchwoman, to no success.
To the survivors in the room, if you are willing, please stand. And if you are willing, please raise your hands if you have still not been able to meet with this Department of Justice. Please know for the record that every single survivor has raised their hand. Attorney General Bondi, you apologized to the survivors in your opening statement for what they went through at the hands of Jeffrey Epstein. Will you turn to them now and apologize for what your Department of Justice has put them through with the absolutely unacceptable release of the Epstein files and their information?
Congresswoman, you sat before Merrick Garland sat in this chair twice.
Attorney General Bondi,
No, can I finish my answer?
No, I'm going to reclaim my time because I asked you a specific question that I would like you to answer, which is, will you turn to the survivors? This is not about anybody that came before you. It is about you taking responsibility for your Department of Justice and the harm that it has done to the survivors who are standing right behind you and are waiting for you to turn to them and apologize for what your Department of Justice has done.
Members get to ask the questions, the witness gets to answer in the way they want to answer. The Attorney General can
that's
respond.
not accurate, Mr. Chairman.
Because she doesn't like the answer. So,
Mr. Chairman,
why
I have asked
didn't she ask Merrick Garland this twice?
I'm reclaiming my time, and when I reclaim my time, it is
Mr. Chairman, the gentlelady has reclaimed her time.
I'm not going to get in the gutter for her theatrics.
The time belongs to the gentlelady. The gentlelady has 17 seconds.
Thank you. You're not going to answer this question, so let me just
Chairman,
say
I'll
this.
direct it to
What a
you.
massive
No, I'm
cover-up.
answering a
Mr.
question.
Chairman, will you restore her time? The witness is interrupted.
I'm not going to get in the gutter with this woman.
Stop the
She's
time
doing theatrics.
and let me have my time.
The gentlelady from Washington controls the time. The gentlelady has 17 seconds. You can proceed with your final
Thank you.
17 seconds.
What a massive cover-up this has been and continues to be. Donald Trump made the release of the Epstein files the center of his political campaign because he thought it would benefit him. Then you got into office, Attorney General, claimed to have a client list, only to then say that there was no list. Your deputy, Todd Blanche, met alone with Ghislaine Maxwell and transferred her to a minimum security prison. And now you continue the cover-up. And I wish that you would turn around to the survivors who are standing right behind you and on a human level,
Chairman,
Chair now recognizes the chair.
and what you have done.
Time of the gentlelady
yield
expired.
back.
The gentlelady, you have no time to yield back.
Theatrics.
We appreciate that. We appreciate the thought.
I don't think I've ever seen a more soulless creature than Pamela Jo Bondi, to be honest. Pam Bondi's absolutely soulless, gutless performance today was really wild. She refused, even as those survivors were standing. She never acknowledged them, by the way. When she walked into the hearing, she walked right past them and would not even look at them. That is who Pamela Bondi is. Refused to apologize and kept trying to invoke Merrick Garland. But there's more. But wait, there's more. Jerry Nadler of New York tried to at least get her to answer some questions, get some answers. Here's Jerry Nadler giving it a shot.
How many of Epstein's co-conspirators have you indicted? How many perpetrators are you even investigating?
First, you showed it. I find it.
How many have you indicted?
Excuse me. I'm going to answer the question.
Answer my question.
No, I'm going to answer the question the way I want to answer the question.
No,
Your
you're going to answer
theatrics
the
are
question the way I
ridiculous.
asked it.
Chairman Jordan, I'm not going to get in the gutter with these people, but I'm going to answer the question.
How many have you indicted?
Again, the time belongs to
Reclaiming my time.
The time belongs.
I think it's very interesting.
Reclaiming my time.
I think it's very interesting.
You can
When
reclaim
he
your
talks
time,
about
but
they
reclaiming my time,
indicted,
Mr.
the
Chairman.
president said they
Close the
indicted
clock.
him
Mr.
twice.
Chairman, please
They
stop the
sure
clock
did.
and stop the
he
clock and
indicted-
restore his time.
Okay, here we go with these
Committee will be in order.
theatrics.
The time
Reclaiming my
belongs
time
to the
and
gentleman
build back
from
the
New
clock,
York.
please.
We will give you a few more seconds. We will do that. But when
Reclaiming
you ask
my-
a question, the witness
question
gets to
was-
answer. You may not like the answer, but she
Right.
gets to
The
answer.
question was, how many of Epstein's...
They don't like
Que-
the answer, Chairman,
my time.
because it's honest.
Reclaiming
So
my-
he asked a
Reclaiming my
4-minute
time.
question.
Restore 45
and
seconds,
I am
Mr. Nadler,
going
please,
to
Mr. Chairman.
Answer.
You can let her filibuster all day long, but not on our watch.
Reclaiming-
Not on our time. No way.
Reclaiming-
And I told you about that, Attorney General, before you started.
You don't tell me
Yeah, I
anything,
did tell you because we
washed
saw
up
what you did in the
loser
Senate.
Lawyer, not even a lawyer.
Committee will be in order.
Time and I should get back.
And that was her the whole hearing. Every time Democrats spoke and one Republican, I don't calling people her instead of Congresswoman. These people, I don't have to answer. I don't have to listen to these people. Yes, you do. These people are doing oversight over you, Heifer. We have the heiferologist on later, so let me just go ahead and start. We need to get the heiferologist to talk about Pam Bondi because that heifer was out here wilding. She was crashing out the entire hearing. Absolutely wild. But I want you to hear part 2 of Pamela Jo's absolutely unhinged, batshit response once a sycophant on the Republican side ceded his time to her so that she could continue to go off at Jerry Nadler's question. Take a look at this.
Time is yours.
Thank you. First, he brought up the president saying they indicted me twice. They sure did. They tried to impeach him twice. And you, Mr. Nadler, were one of the leads on the impeachment. I was on the other side. I lived that with you. During impeachment, you said the president conspired, sought foreign interference in the 2016 election. Robert Mueller found no evidence, none, of foreign interference in 2016. Have you apologized to President Trump? Have you apologized to President Trump, all of you who participated in those impeachment hearings against Donald Trump? You all should be apologizing. You sit here and you attack the president, and I am not going to have it. I'm not going to put up with it. You know, all they want to do, the American people need to know this. They are talking about Epstein today. This has been around since the Obama administration. This administration released over 3 million pages of documents, over 3 million, and Donald Trump signed that law to release all of those documents. He is the most transparent president in the nation's history. And none of them asked Merrick Garland over the last 4 years one word about Jeffrey Epstein. How ironic is that? You know why? Because Donald Trump, the Dow right now is over, the Dow is over $50,000. I don't know why you're laughing. You're a great stock trader, as I hear, Raskin. The Dow is over 50,000 right now. The S&P.
Meow. Move over, Melania.
Cuckoo,
No one defends Donald Trump like Pam Bondi does. Pam Bondi acts like Donald Trump is either her husband or her child. She at one point said, he's the greatest president in American history, and you will not disparage him, in that tone of voice. This lady got up there and crashed out anytime someone did other than, and the Republicans knew the game, because the majority of them just got up there and asked her sycophant. That's why I didn't play any of them. They just asked sycophant suck-up questions. And she, that's correct, Congressman. She was super polite as long as you were kissing Trump's behind. And then as soon as you asked her a real question, she just crashed out. There was one Republican, though, who did show up to actually work. And that, of course, is Thomas Massie, of course, who, along with Ro Khanna, is the one who pushed through the law that, yes, Donald Trump signed because he had no choice. It passed overwhelmingly. He signed a law he did not want to sign, which is the act that forces the release of the Epstein files. Thomas Massie and Ro Khanna are the people who pushed through that law, defying House leadership, going over the head of the Speaker of the House to put that law on the floor. So let's just remember history, Pam. The president has been trying to prevent the release of the Epstein files, but he had no choice but to sign the law because they just would have overridden his veto. So he had to sign it. Right? So now here is Thomas Massie questioning Pam Bondi about the fact that Pam Bondi's Department of Injustice redacted the names of the perpetrators, but left in the names of many of the victims.
Behind me, I have 3 documents from the DOJ production that are emblematic of the massive failure of the DOJ to comply with the Epstein Files Transparency Act. To my right is an email that was sent by the victims' lawyers to the DOJ. It was a list of names not to redact, a list of names not to release. What did the DOJ do with this email? They released this email in the document production. Literally the worst thing you could do to the survivors, you did. And they're getting phone calls. A lot of these people didn't want to be known. And we know you touched the document because you redacted one name. And you redacted the lawyer's name, but you left the survivor's name there. The next document I want to show you, that was in the title, the victims' survivors' names, all right? The title of this one is Child Sex Trafficking, Co-Conspirators, fully redacted. And by the way, I'm going to unredact them here. Les Wexner is in this. Now, your deputy Attorney General said, oh, well, he appears hundreds of times in the files, but he doesn't appear in this file until I forced you to release it, where he's listed as a co-conspirator, not to tax evasion, but to child sex trafficking, not to prostitution, not to money laundering, child sex trafficking. And then finally, what we have here is the third exhibit that I have is emblematic of the FD 302 release. These are the documents that we need, that you're holding on to and over-redacting because they have the names of the men who are implicated. How do we know? Because the survivors gave testimony to the FBI, and it's in there. And what happens when you go to the portal at the DOJ to look at what's behind this redaction? Another redaction. So we can't even see them. And then there's some of these files you've pulled down from the website that we will never see because we can't search the redactions. So
Then now let's hear Pam Bondi wigging out on Mr. Massey.
Ask Merrick Garland that the last 4 years. Did you talk about Epstein?
I am reclaiming my
the
time.
last
I'm
4
glad you're
years?
asking about Merrick Garland.
You don't get to reclaim
because
time
this
when
is
you don't-
bigger than
when you can't-
Watergate.
when I don't answer a question the
This
way you
goes
want.
over 4 administrations. You don't have to go
What?
back to Biden. Let's go back to Obama. Let's go back to George Bush. This cover-up spans decades, and you are responsible for this portion of it.
And that's
now,
where the
I want to
most
know at what point did the FBI and the DOJ decide that Lex Wessner was not a co-conspirator? Because our Epstein Files Transparency Act requires you, please put it back on the screen, please, to release the internal decision about whether to prosecute him or not, and it's not in the files, and it's not in the files for any of these other men.
Time of the gentleman has expired.
May she answer?
And he's a hypocrite because he voted against the ban that we were talking about on deep fake AI porn. Only 2 people voted against it, and you were one of them, hypocrite.
We don't know anything about that bill, but I'm going to guess that it was a performative bill that Pam Bondi supported just so that she could have something to say other than what the Dow is, which has nothing to do with you, ma'am, or your job. And after the hearing, Massey, oh no, wait, before we get to that, it was really Ted Lieu. I have to get to this. This is really Ted Lieu who really did catch Pammy dead to rights. Here's Ted Lieu.
I want to discuss another man, Donald Trump, who is all over the Epstein files, like former Prince. Here's the video. Like former Prince Andrew, Donald Trump attended various parties with Jeffrey Epstein. I want to know, were there any underage girls at that party or at any party that Trump attended with Jeffrey Epstein?
This is so ridiculous, and that they are trying to deflect from all the great things Donald Trump has done. There is no evidence that Donald Trump has committed a crime. Everyone knows that. This has been the most transparent presidency. He's the one that asked that those files
I'm reclaiming my time.
be
I got your
released.
answer. You said there's no evidence.
Trump asked
Mr. Chairman, please stop the clock.
Stop the clock. The legislation. This is
Time
ridiculous.
time belongs to the gentleman from California.
Okay. I'm going to put up another document from a witness who called the FBI's National Threat Operations Center, because I believe you just lied under oath. There is ample evidence in the Epstein file.
Don't you ever accuse me of a crime.
I believe you just lied under oath, and this is all on videotape. You said there's no evidence of a crime. I'm showing you, here is a witness statement who called into the FBI's Threat Operations Center. He drove Donald Trump around in a limo. He overheard what Donald Trump said to Jeffrey on his cell phone. He was so angry, he was gonna stop a limo and hurt Donald Trump. And he met a girl who said she was raped by Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein. She later had her head blown off, and officers at the scene said that could not have been suicide. No one at the Department of Justice interviewed this witness. You need to interview this witness immediately. Epstein should rot in hell, so should the men who patronized his operation. And as we say here today, there are over 1,000 sex trafficking victims, and you have not held a single man accountable. Shame on you. If you had any decency, you would resign right after this hearing concludes.
The gentleman has expired.
Former prosecutor Ted Lieu. Boom. Jason, we're going to skip through because we're trying to get through this a little bit quicker. Can you please pull up A9 if you could? Because there's somebody else who might have lied under oath when he testified before Congress, and that would be Kash Patel, who said this back when he was testifying a few months ago.
Himself, there is no credible information. None. If there were, I would bring the case yesterday that he trafficked to other individuals. And the information we have, again, is limited.
So the answer is no one?
For the information that we have.
In the files?
In the case file.
Okay.
Okay, and now let's hear Ro Khanna. This is A10. This is Ro Khanna saying, maybe that's not true.
Speaker, Yesterday, Congressman Massey and I went to the Department of Justice to read the unredacted Epstein files. We spent about 2 hours there, and we learned that 70 to 80% of the files are still redacted. In fact, there were 6 wealthy, powerful men that the DOJ hid for no apparent reason. When Congressman Massey and I pointed this out to the Department of Justice, they acknowledged their mistake, and now they have revealed the identity of these 6 powerful men. These men are Salvatore Navora, Zorab Mikaladze, Leopig Leonor, Nicola Caputa, Sultan Ahmed bin Sulayem, CEO of Dubai Ports World, and billionaire businessman Leslie Wexner, who was labeled as a co-conspirator by the FBI. Now, my question is, why did it take Thomas Massey and me going to the Justice Department to get these 6 men's identities to become public?
We can leave it there.
And if we found 6 men that they were...
He said, if we found 6 men, how many really are there? And we have a picture of them. This is the list. And just so you can see their faces, this is 3 of the ones that our great intern team were able to find. That's the Sultan, who did an email in the Epstein files saying he enjoyed a quote unquote torture video that Epstein shared with him. Les Wexner's the guy on the side there. He owned Victoria's Secret and other brands. And so that's Les Wexner there. So, important for us to just see what these men look like. Let's just leave it there for now, because the question that I think everyone should be asking is the question that Ro Khanna asked. If they were able to find those 6 men who they claimed there were no co-conspirators, but those people were listed as co-conspirators, how many other co-conspirators are there? How rich are they? And how friendly are they with Donald Trump? Let's move on to our next topic here, because there is some good news for Democrats. Bernie Sanders backed, well, I should say for progressives. Let me say not necessarily, it's for progressives and Democrats. A Bernie Sanders backed progressive has won the primary to replace Mikey Sherrill in New Jersey's 11th congressional district, which would essentially, if she remains in that seat, move that seat to the left. And now that Sherrill is governor, there is a race, and there it is. It hasn't been called by everyone. I think AP still might be holding out, but Analilia Mejia is going to be, at least likely, the interim congresswoman from this district. And here, if you do not know anything about Analilia, here is an ad.
Analilia Mejia, and I am running for New Jersey's Congressional District 11. In this moment, it feels like we have to be bold if we are going to pull our country back from the precipice of hate and the destruction of democracy, as well as build towards something better than the status quo has been. I had the privilege of serving as Bernie Sanders' national political director when he last ran for president, where I saw the possibility that our movement could actually build and transform politics as usual. I deeply believe in the transformative power of community, of organizing. And so I am running to be able to give voice to people who stay up at night worried about how they're going to meet the needs of their family. Myself, for example, my mother has dementia. And if it wasn't for the fact that she had to become, frankly, destitute to become eligible for Medicaid, my sister and I wouldn't be able to work. It is tremendous to be able to count on the support of Senator Sanders, of a leader in our movement who frankly taught me so many lessons about how we connect with people and how we actually can build better policy. Our communities deserve a fighter that will really step up for them.
Another piece of evidence that Bernie Sanders may have lost the primary to Hillary Clinton in 2016, but he definitely and eventually won the war for the soul of the Democratic base. Tom Malinowski, a former congressman from a different district who had been considered a favorite for the deep blue seat, issued a concession statement last night that was also posted on his ex-Twitter account, in which he praised Ms. Mejia for her campaign, but also added this: the outcome of the race could not be understood without also taking into account the massive flood of dark money that AIPAC spent on dishonest ads during the last 3 weeks. I wish I could say today that this effort, which was meant to intimidate Democrats across the country, failed in New Jersey 11, but it did not. I met several voters in the final days of the campaign who had seen the ads and asked me sincerely, are you MAGA? Are you ICE? And he concluded by saying, quote, my convictions, including my support for Israel as democratic and as a democratic and Jewish state, don't change because of who supports or opposes me. But our Democratic Party should have nothing to do with a pro-Trump, billionaire-funded organization that demands absolute fealty to positions that are outside the mainstream of the American pro-Israel community, and then smears those who don't fall into line. Then he adds this: if AIPAC backs a candidate, openly or surreptitiously, in the June New Jersey 11 congressional primary, I will oppose that candidate and urge my supporters to do so as well. The threat of unlimited dark money poses to our democracy is far more significant than the views of a single member of Congress on Middle East policy, unquote. Now, what he's talking about are ads run by the American Israel Public Affairs Committee, which is a super PAC they have that runs political ads. They spent more than $2 million on ads against Malinowski, who is pro-Israel. Not because he's not pro-Israel, but because he indicated that it might be possible to limit the funding, the aid that's sent to Israel. Just saying that triggered an onslaught of this targeted attack ad barrage from something called United Democracy Project, UDP, which is the same super PAC linked to AIPAC that went after Cori Bush and Jamal Bowman in New York. And to call these attack ads disingenuous is a serious understatement. I want you all to take a look at the anti-Malinowski ad.
Election to fill Mikey Sherrill's House seat. Tom Malinowski says he'll stand up to Trump. But hold on. In 2019, Tom Malinowski voted with Trump and the Republicans to fund ICE. More than $200 million for Trump's deportation force. $200 million that got us this? Democrats called Malinowski's vote a blank check for the Trump administration and a betrayal. We can't trust Tom Malinowski.
You notice that they used a voiceover that sounds like a black woman and used this ICE and didn't talk about Israel at all. That's the sneaky crap that AIPAC's political PAC does. It didn't work. Not only will they now get the pro-Israel congressman that they could have had if he'd won, they also get a very critical of the Israeli genocide congresswoman who will fill that seat until this term expires, and then she'll then have to run again, but she goes in now as the favorite. Congresswoman-elect Analilia Mejia joins me now. Congresswoman-elect, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. I face off with a Republican opponent on April 16th, and then I have to run again in June primary, although I'm seeing the Democratic Party in New Jersey really uphold and the will of voters, and then again in November. So
you have to run 3 times for the seat.
Yes, I have to. It's 4 races in under a year. I'll become either have incredible expertise on it or meet every single voter in New Jersey's 11th congressional district.
You should ring Raphael Warnock, who had to run, I think, 3 or 4 times for his Senate seat, and ask him how that, what the vibe is on that. Where is the Democratic Party? Where do they stand on you? We know with your fellow progressive, Mr. Mamdani, who won as New York mayor, who is a progressive, a Bernie Sanders progressive, the Democratic Party was very hands-off and disinterested in supporting him. What kind of support or not support, what is the vibe you're getting from the party in New Jersey?
I'm honestly, I'm getting the exact opposite. Today I met with the Democratic Party chairman in New Jersey, who has been vocal in support of myself and has pledged to support me not only in this April special general, but also a June primary and into November, because we're clear. Voters in New Jersey, it was a hard fought race. There were 11 candidates who ultimately were on that ballot. Although it was a crowded field, we worked really hard to push to get to be able to connect with voters across the district. I would say that although I am very clearly a progressive, I believe and I focus on the word progress in the word progressive. I think that we need tax fairness in our government and in New Jersey's 11th district, but obviously across our U.S. government. I think that we need to do more in terms of affordable housing, not only for first-time home buyers, but for renters. I believe that we need to take control of our healthcare costs. I am a proponent of Medicare for all. I believe that we need to take out the profit-driven model that is actually harming people. And I think that we are in a battle to fight for our democracy. I am not to me, it is very clear that what Donald Trump, MAGA, and Republicans have accepted is the whittling down of our democracy, specifically whittling down the 14th Amendment. As the daughter of immigrants, I have citizenship because the 14th Amendment says that anyone born in this country has birthright citizenship. Donald Trump wants to take that away.
You need both, sister.
Yeah, I mean, I should have due process and equal protection, but many of us, I know that we don't, right? Actually predating Donald Trump, this particular iteration of his administration. But the bottom line is that we are in a moment of democratic backslide, and the relationship between billionaires who have captured our economy and billionaires who are capturing our government, the common interest, the common foe is an informed electorate, is actual participation. And so I jumped in to increase turnout, and we did. I jumped in to talk about what's happening, the overreach of this administration, and it is clear. And I jumped in to be able to give voice to the concerns of voters across this district who want to end the chaos, hatred, and violence. And they want to have the kind of economy and nation and democracy that sees us all as humans.
I would love for you to comment on the AIPAC of it, because I presume they're going to spend money against you in both, as you said, this sort of immediate general election with the Republican opponent. It's a very blue seat, so you should be fine there. And then again, when you have to run another primary. But they used the issue of ICE, which is so personal to so many people of color, including people like you, because brown people are first on the menu, then black people right after afterwards.
I mean, Chicago showed us that we're going after black and brown community. Let's not
absolutely. But the fact that they would but the fact that they would use that issue when all they actually care about, really, AIPAC, is whether or not people are completely obedient and supine to a foreign government, Israel. That's all they care about. And that is why they spent against Tom Malinowski. What do you make of that tactic?
I mean, first of all, what a tremendous lesson that they actually taught voters in New Jersey's 11th congressional district, in New Jersey voters, and across the country. See, they told on themselves. They let everyone know that it isn't about being in relationship or having conversation or being in community. It was about blind obedience, like you said it. What kind of nation actually has sovereignty if its elected officials have to pledge blind obedience to a massive entity? That is not right. What we representatives should be representing the interest of their constituents. That is why we're sent to Congress. I rejected from the beginning of my campaign. I spoke out against AIPAC, against corporate lobbyists. I spoke out against corporate PACs because I believe between Citizens United and the unscrupulous tactics, it silences democracy. It silences people. And they showed that they were willing to do it to friend or foe. So I think Tom was incredibly, completely right. I think that an AIPAC endorsement will signal to New Jersey voters and to voters across the country that, in fact, what you are getting is a representative that will not listen to you first, that will kowtow to
interesting that people frame as an issue about sovereignty, but the AIPAC issue about sovereignty, right? I mean, if in fact an American elected official must obey and must always support unlimited funding to a foreign government, no matter what the foreign government is, that seems to me to be the opposite of being for sovereignty. And to try to manipulate Black and brown people over an issue so painful as ICE strikes me as completely unethical. Do you believe that AIPAC should register as a foreign government? And if in government you had the chance to legislate on that, do you think they should register as a foreign lobby?
That that is an interesting question. Can I add something here though? It is
Sure.
also to Jewish people, to Jewish voters, to this idea that, the tactics and the manipulation that AIPAC is willing to engage in is very, very disturbing. I've been having conversations across the board in this district, and folks were really disgusted, and they feel very concerned about how it then turns into and feeds into the rising hate that we are seeing in our nation. It is a fact that in America today, we do have rising anti-Semitism. In America today, we do have rising anti-Blackness. In America today, people like you, like me, like my Jewish brothers and sisters are actually finding themselves in harm's way simply for walking in these bodies. And so when AIPAC uses such terrible tactics, it not only undermines our democracy, but it undermines our community and it breaks us apart. I am, in many ways, I have to say, I'm glad that they showed themselves for what they are. And I also add, however, that, they now want to spin and say that maybe they did it on purpose, or maybe, this was like 4D chess. But here's the bottom line. We had a special election on a sleepy Thursday in New Jersey, and my campaign was about connecting to people, speaking truth to power, speaking about the things that are keeping people up at night. We were very intentional about knocking on doors, talking to individuals, connecting with folks. I mean, just the number of times that I found myself at 6 a.m. at a train station parting voters was unbelievable sometimes. But that's why we were able to deliver victory. It is, and I would say it's not about left or right, it's about right and wrong in this moment. And I think, although I am a progressive, I think this was a victory for democracy. This was a victory for people having control of their own government. And I'm glad to be able to get to run it again in April 16th.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think the right walls are coming down. It is becoming more about right and wrong. And I think you're starting to see people think that way. Analilia Mejia, congratulations. Let everybody know one more time, when is the next election? What do people need to gear up for? And if people want to support you, what's the website they can go to?
Well, you could check me out. You could learn a little bit more about me at analilia4nj.com. Our next election is going to be on April 16th. And we are, our campaign is really, my motto is unbossed for all of us. That's a shout out to the great, amazing Shirley Chisholm.
Amen.
And I'm just excited and thrilled to be able to represent Democrats, but more importantly, working families, middle-class families, working poor families in New Jersey's 11th congressional district.
Well, I think a lot of people are very excited about you. The chats are loving you. So at least you got some support here in these various chats that are listening right now. Best of luck, Analilia. You're welcome to come back anytime.
Thank you. I'm a big fan of yours, so thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. All right. Thank you very much. And we're going to put the link in the description so that we can make sure that you guys can support this young lady as she continues to rise in politics. I suspect she is going to be a star. Let's support one of our sponsors here. We could not do independent media without our incredible sponsors. They step up and step forward to make sure that we and our small but mighty team can continue to bring you this independent journalism and independent media. And the Joy Reid Show tonight is brought to you by our friends at Helix. So the question is, how are you navigating this chilly season? I know you're spending more time indoors, maybe spending more time cuddled up in bed, which can be very helpful. And staying comfy inside of your bed is really about the mattress in very many ways. And your Helix mattress will help to get you there. Now, I myself have had lots of sleep issues. I am an insomniac. I am a side sleeper. I've got the numb shoulder, all the things. And so getting the right mattress is critical. Helix does a sleep quiz where they match you with the perfect mattress based on your personal preferences and your sleep needs. It makes buying a mattress super easy. It is an award-winning mattress. Helix is the most awarded mattress brand. It's been tested and reviewed by experts at Forbes and Wired and others. They give you free shipping, seamless delivery. They'll deliver your mattress right to your door. And that is the easiest way to go. Be happy with Helix Guarantee will also ensure that you're very happy with your purchase. You can rest easy with seamless returns and exchanges. And that happy with Helix Guarantee means it's a risk-free, customer-first experience designed to ensure that you are completely satisfied with your comfy new mattress. Try their 120-night sleep trial and their limited lifetime warranty. So sleep better and actually feel better about life in general. If you have a specific sleep issue, put that on that sleep quiz, and that way you can figure out exactly the mattress for you. So here's what you can do. You can go to helixsleep.com/joy for 27% off site-wide, and this offer is exclusive to the TJRS audience. That is helixsleep.com/joy for 27% off site-wide. Just make sure that you enter our show name at checkout so that they know that we're the ones who sent you. We love when you do that as well. helixsleep.com/joy. Thank y'all very much. Let me let you guys hear one more clip from this morning's hearings with Pamela Jo Bondi, and it involves someone that we all know and love very much, a friend of this show.
But that doesn't give you a right to go into the Capitol and disrupt Congress. Something these guys talk about every day. You can't do that. So when Don Lemon said that he was exercising his First Amendment free press rights, freedom of the press rights, that's not really accurate because he was trampling on other individuals' rights. Is that true?
Chairman, we will always protect our churches and the freedom of religion. And yes, that's accurate.
First right mentioned under the First Amendment, freedom of religion, freedom to practice your faith the way you think the good Lord wants you to, right?
That's right, under the federal government.
And isn't it true that Mr. Lemon met at a shopping center with the rioters who entered City's church in St. Paul, met with them prior to marching to the church?
He did meet, and this is a pending case right now, so I will only stick to what is in the four corners of the unsealed indictment, if I could, Chairman.
Yeah, I'm
There's a lot more that will come out, but under the four corners of the indictment, yes, he did. They had an operation called Operation Pull-Up. They said they were gearing for a resistance. They met in a parking lot and they caravanned to a church on a Sunday morning when people were worshiping together.
And Mr. Lemon said that he live streamed before entering the church with the rioters. Didn't he say we're going to head to the operation? Didn't he say this he said this on camera, is that right?
Yes, Chairman,
yeah.
And more.
That he was in Minnesota and that, as you said, they were gearing up for an operation. So you can't do that. This is why this is, I think, so important that this guy be held accountable, and I think why you guys have charged him and indicted him. Moving to a second subject
Chairman
here.
of the committee, Jim Jordan, performing for Trump. The two of them were both performing for an audience of one. And let me just, first of all, I wish somebody would depose Jim Jordan about that pedophile coach at his old university that was attacking children while he, as assistant coach, did absolutely nada. I'd love to get him deposed on that someday. And Pamela Jo, let me just try to explain how journalism works, okay? If you are a journalist and you are going to cover a march, the first thing you've got to do in order to cover the rally, the march, whatever it is, you've got to find out where it is. And then when you find out where it is, you've got to go to where it is. And if the people who you're covering who are going to do a march are there, those are the people that you're going to follow into where it is that they're doing the protest. That is called journalism. If the protest was happening at a park and you found out that the protest was calling itself Operation Go to the Park, the journalist is going to be like, oh, I found information that there's going to be an Operation Go to the Park. I'm going to go to the park and cover the protest. That's what Don Lemon did. That's called journalism. I mean, you're a lawyer. I'm assuming you can read. Jim Jordan, I don't know. But anyway, just want to try to make sure I keep them informed as well. Joining me now is somebody who really understands the law. Attorney General of Black America, they call him, Ben Crump, whose first novel, Worse Than a Lie, hits bookstores on February 17. We're going to talk all about the book. But before I do that, I'm going to take full advantage of the presence of my friend Ben. Ben, your thoughts on this idea that they're excited about maybe prosecuting Don Lemon for doing journalism? Oh, you're muted. There you go.
First of all, Queen, let me say how excited I am to be on the Joy Reid show.
Thank you.
I love you, I adore you, and I just exalt your brilliance.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate you. Thank you. It's right back at you, my friend. So let's talk about our mutual friend, Don Lemon. What in the fresh hell?
Well, you know, Don, it's ludicrous when I think of them arresting Don like this. And I know you and I talked when they arrested him, and then I talked to Don and his team. But this is so much bigger than even Don. What ICE is doing is just an outright assault on the most basic principles of our Constitution. Obviously, it's an assault on the First Amendment, Joy, our right to freedom of assembly, freedom of speech, freedom of press, but it doesn't stop there. They then go and assault our Second Amendment with the killing of Alex Peretti when they said he didn't have the right to bear arms. And then you go to the Fourth Amendment, the prohibition against unlawful searches and seizures. I mean, they are kicking in people's doors without warrants. I mean, they're busting people's car windows. I mean, it's just an affront to the Fourth Amendment. And then the Fifth Amendment, Joy Reid, the right to due process of the law. This American notion, this just revered principle that you are innocent until proven guilty. But now with ICE and their racial profiling, you are guilty and you have to prove your innocence. And it's just heartbreaking. And then you go to the Sixth Amendment right to counsel, and the fact that you have people in ICE detentions where you have good lawyers trying to go and offer advice and counsel to them that is guaranteed by the Constitution of the United States. I only have to go to Gideon v. Wainwright, and the fact that this is what makes America America, but they're denying the lawyers from being able to go into the detention facilities. And then, Joy Reid, worst of all is the downright assault on the Eighth Amendment guarantee against cruel and unusual punishment. And the fact that you have people in these ICE detention centers that aren't getting their medications, their life-saving medications, their insulin, their heart medicine, and they are literally dying in these ICE facilities. And the government seems to have no problem with it. This administration is saying that's just fine. And so it's terrible what they're doing to our brother Don Lemon, but it goes so much worse, so much deeper. And as a civil rights lawyer, you watch the constitutional rights and the elasticity being stretched, and you don't know after this administration, will it ever gain its former dimensions? So that is the war that is upon us, especially during Black History Month.
Uh-oh, here comes the Wi-Fi gremlins are getting it at Ben. Hopefully his Wi-Fi will come back. And hopefully you'll come back. He's a little bit frozen right now. We're going to hopefully take him backstage and see if we can get Ben's signal to working in, because I definitely want to ask him. You know, he's somebody that has sued many a law enforcement agency for cruel and unusual punishment and excessive force. Let's see if he's back yet. Let's see if he's back. Let's try to see if we can bring him back. Ben, are you back?
Am I back?
Yep, I think it was just a little bit of a Wi-Fi issue. Really quickly before we move on to the book, I have two more quick questions. One, you have sued many a law enforcement agency that people didn't believe would ever have to pay for the brutality and for the brutalizing and murder of civilians, of unarmed civilians. You've now seen these two cases, and if you add Keith Porter, and there are multiple other cases of people who've been shot, who've been brutalized, who didn't, thank God, die, and many who did. Do you think that ultimately these agencies that are under Department of Homeland Security, and maybe even some of the leadership, will end up facing civil penalties for what they've done? And some of the ICE agents too.
You know, I absolutely believe if the principles of equal justice under the law applies, that they will be held accountable. The fact that you have Alex Peretti and the video is so clear that
hold on, Ben. I think, you know what? Hotel Wi-Fi is the worst. I believe that Ben is at a hotel, and hotel Wi-Fi is literally the absolute worst thing in the world. And so I'm really hoping that we can get him to come back. I guess producers, if you guys can maybe have him do a speed test, if you just go on speedtest.net and have him test to see if maybe his Wi-Fi is a little bit strong enough to get on, because we definitely want to continue talking to him. But yeah, Jason, it's one of those things where hotel Wi-Fi, man. It's tough. And unless you can have like a signal where you can plug directly into. Okay, we're gonna give him one more chance. We're gonna give one more chance. Okay, let's go. We really want to talk about this book. All right, let's try it again. What do you got? Do you think these guys will be held accountable?
I think definitely in Alex Peretti's case, and I believe in Ms. Good's case, they should be held accountable, but they're going to try to argue qualified immunity in her case. As you know, Joy, you and I have dealt with on every case, Breonna Taylor, Tyree Nichols, all of them, they say they were in fear of their life. But I don't think it holds up, because the video tells us with our own eyes what really happened. She was turning the car away from them.
And very quickly before we get to the book, Pam Bondi today, I don't know if you watched that hearing today, but the prospect that she wouldn't even look at the victims. Jason has this really sort of chilling still at C3. She wouldn't even look at them. What do you make of her?
But, you know, it's very disturbing that the Department of Justice will not try to respect the victims' rights. That's the whole reason they are supposed to be in place, is to fight for the victims, the people who are marginalized, and the fact that they seem to make their priority protecting the powerful. I mean, I'm heartbroken as a civil rights lawyer that on their website, they say their primary objective is to protect the civil rights of white men, to make sure that they are not discriminated against in America. I mean, it's like
that's their new mission. That is their new mission. Protect white men from competition. Let's talk about this book. The book is called Worse Than a Lie. It is a novel. You are delving into the world of fiction. Tell us, who are these characters, and is one of these characters you?
Well, the fictional novel, a lot of similarities. Joy, just like many of my heroes, Perry Mason, John Grisham's The Rainmaker, Michael Connelly, the Lincoln lawyer, there are great legal thrillers, but none of them reflected, a culture and a community that associated with me and many of these young social justice warriors. So what I endeavored to do with Worse Than a Lie was to create a new superhero trial lawyer, one that is thrust into relevant times. We were talking about Alex Peretti in this book on 2008, the night of President Obama's election. Hollis Montrose, a Black police officer, shot 10 times by 4 white police officers. And you have immediately this allegory that was intentional, that you have the historic moment of the first Black president and the hope. And then you saw people saying, are we going to be in a post-racial America? And so I wanted to draw a very clear view that there was going to be a need for civil rights, and we were going to see pushback. And it plays out in this legal thriller that's wrapped up in Black culture. So it's been receiving good reviews. I can't wait to hear what you think, because I value your opinion. But I'm really trying to inspire the next generation of civil rights lawyers.
And the thing is that, lawyers inspire lawyers, right? I mean, I just did a Medgar Evers book, and he was inspired by Thurgood Marshall. Like, that was his inspiration, and he wanted to be a lawyer, and that's who he wanted to be. And so many young lawyers want to be you. They want to be Ben Crump. I love the fact that you're creating characters that sort of actualize and sort of even as a fictional character, and give people heroes to look up to. I think that is very cool. Where did you get the idea, other than your life?
Well, Thurgood Marshall, he was mega hero, my hero. Thurgood once said, Joy Reid, that most people will never know what really happens inside of a courtroom. So he said that he would write his briefs and his legal memos to be very engaging, so they could try to understand. Well, what's more engaging than a legal thriller? And, so I said, I'm going to write a civil rights legal thriller, because now more than ever, we need civil rights heroes in America to keep us fighting on the front line for all humanity. And I think about the Bad Bunny concert, Joy, and I just thought about That's the kind of inspiration we need for those people who still believe that we can give our children a better America, a better world where everybody can live out the American promise of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That's what Bo Lee Cooper fights for, and is his ragtag social justice warrior team that I think people are going to come to love these characters as we go through this series.
I'm really excited about this book, Ben. I want my copy signed, though. I'm going to need to get a signed copy, and we will come back. And once I've read it, we'll have you come back on. We'll do we'll do a book review live on the show. People in the chats are loving it. We are going to put this book in the store. You know how we do. We are a book selling show. Worse Than a Lie will be available in the store. And remember, everything this month is 25% off. You just have to put BHM Black History Month 100. BHM 100. It's the 100th anniversary of Black History Month. 25% off. But go ahead and pre-order this book. It comes out on the 17th, but you get your pre-orders in just like y'all did with Tiffany Cross's book. You can make sure that it lands on the New York Times bestseller list. Ben, we have already helped. Don Lemon and we helped an independent media help put Clay Cane's book on the New York Times bestseller list for fiction, for hardcover fiction. And we are going to claim already that we are going to do the same for you. We're super excited about it. And please come back and talk about the book and anything else you want, anytime.
Thank you, Joy. And Joy, can I just say this?
Yes.
Thank you for always being brilliant and bold. Now we need that more than ever. And you have always been that. And I mean, God knows we need your voice more than ever now, Joy Reid. So thank you, Queen.
Thank you so much, my dear friend. I appreciate you. Ben Crump, everybody. Thank you very much. Jason, can you get a round of applause? Because he's a brother. He's a good brother. But the Attorney General of Black America. We played the bad Attorney General earlier. With the good Attorney General. We appreciate you. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Joy.
See you soon. All right. That's the good Attorney General. The Attorney General of Black America. We should just make him the Attorney General of America, period. Because wouldn't we be better off with Ben Crump rather than Pamela Joe Bondi? Let's play one more clip that I really wanted you all to see. This is not from today's hearing. This is actually from yesterday's hearing. And this is LaMonica McIver, who you've seen on this show. She is a semi-regular, one of our elected official guests. And yesterday, there was a set of hearings that was around ICE and the Border Patrol and USCIS, which are the three agencies under the Department of Homeland Security that deal with immigration. LaMonica McIver of the great state of New Jersey, when she had her time on the mic, everybody got 5 minutes. Oh, she used hers. Here's LaMonica McIver.
Senior official lead in ICE enforcement, much of today's scrutiny falls on you, and it should. We have seen repeatedly that Republicans, Trump administration, its DHS, and your agency will do absolutely anything to avoid answering for your actions. When I showed up to inspect Delaney Hall, a private prison that you contract with, ICE tried not to give us an oversight tour. Then, instead of taking accountability for ICE's attempts to keep us from seeing this facility's conditions to know if people's basic rights were being upheld, this administration is doing all they can to try to put me in prison for 17 years. When ICE shot and killed Renee Good, Kristi Noem called her a domestic terrorist. When Alex Preddy, you all tried to tell us he was threatening officers with a gun, but all we saw was a phone. This administration's clear lies fell apart, not because someone had a come to Jesus moment, but because we saw these murders from every angle. You are only here because public outrage has become so unavoidable. You are here, Mr. Lyons, because white people are getting shot in the face and chest when the cameras are rolling. Because now my Republican colleagues care about optics. But when Keith Porter Jr., a Black American citizen, a son, a father, and a man loved by many was killed by an off-duty ICE agent on New Year's Eve, there were no hearings. So this is for him today. In my district, Jean Wilson Brutus, a Haitian immigrant, a beloved family man, died within 24 hours of being in ICE custody. He is just one of more than 30 people who have died in ICE custody last year. This is for all of them. Every human being your rogue, out-of-control agency has hurt, hunted down, imprisoned, killed, and continue to hold hostage even after they have agreed to be deported. We know this administration doesn't care about protecting people or sparing lives. We all see so plainly what you are doing, what you have been doing to Black and brown folks, immigrants, people silenced in the shadows, now in broad daylight, to people peacefully rejecting your cruel agenda in the streets, which is their right to do. This is the despicable but predictable result of an agency that laughs at oversight, receives billions to deploy lethal force on our neighborhoods, and seems to believe that they are above the law and should be without accountability. This administration believes it can act first, explain later, or hell, never explain at all, as we see here today. You all seem to think you are the highest power who decides which people deserve dignity, protection, due process, but you are wrong. We are here for answers. We are here for accountability, and we are here because people are dying. Let me repeat that. People are dying, and you don't seem to care. So, Mr. Lyons, I've heard my colleagues ask many questions over and over again, and you cannot answer them. So let me ask you some questions that you may be able to answer. Mr. Lyons, do you consider yourself a religious man?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, yes. Okay, well, how do you think Judgment Day will work for you with so much blood on your hands?
I'm not going to entertain that question.
Oh, okay, of course not. Do you think you're going to hell, Mr. Lyons?
I'm not going to entertain.
Of course not. How many government...
The gentlelady will suspend. The gentlelady will suspend.
Chairman?
A gentlelady will suspend, as I said.
Oh, hey, hey, hey. Hey, LaMonica went there. Okay, New Jersey is in the house between Analilia and LaMonica. That might be the team. Analilia and LaMonica. Bloop. As the commenter just said, there it is. That was fire. Let's quickly talk about our second sponsor, because then I got a couple more videos for you in this same vein. This podcast is sponsored by our friends at strawberry.me. Now, let me just ask y'all something. Do you think LeBron, King James, Patrick Mahomes, or Serena got to be the GOAT, got to that status by just guessing? Nope. They had coaching. Every pro athlete has a specialized coach watching their form, calling the plays, and finding the blind spots that they can't see themselves. And this is how they win championships. And this is how we do it in every single field, whether we are an athlete, whether we're in business, whether in academia, whatever it is, it helps to have a mentor. It helps to have a coach. So why are you just trying to win in your career on your own without a coach? You're just grinding away, hoping for a promotion, trying to guess the right moves. That's amateur hour. You need a strategist. You need strawberry.me. Strawberry.me matches you with a professional career coach who breaks down your game film. They help you negotiate that raise, navigate the politics, and execute a game plan that actually works. And the cost, if you think about it, one raise, one promotion, and the coaching pays for itself 10 times over. This is the best ROI in the game. So stop riding the bench in your own life. Go to strawberry.me/joy today to get 50% off your first coaching session. Strawberry.me, because pros don't guess, they get coached to win. All right, coming up in just a short while, the one and only Ms. Mattie J is going to answer your love questions. We have so many good questions. But before we get to that, I just want to play you just a few more clips, because yesterday's congressional hearing on the Department of Homeland Security, which you just heard LaMonica McIver just a moment ago, it was fire. And they put these three men in the hot seat. So let me just start with some of the questions that Democrats asked about how children and families are being treated by these masked Trump feds. This is going to be D1.
ICE raids schools, churches, and hospitals. And let's not forget 5-year-old Liam Ramos. You used him as a bait and then detained him despite his father legally seeking asylum. Liam is the face of your cruelty.
In this administration, under your watch, ICE has booked nearly 4,000 children. And 1,000 of them have been held longer than the court-ordered 20-day limit. Recently, ProPublica obtained handwritten letters and drawings from children detained by ICE. These are letters from children describing what it feels like and what it does to them when the government locks them up. This is Ariana. She's 14 years old, detained for 45 days. Since I got to this center, all I feel is sadness and mostly depression. This is Mia, 7 years old. I don't want to be in this place. I want to go to my school. This is Gabby, 14 years old. I feel so much sadness and depression of not being able to leave. This is Maria, 9 years old. Me and Dilly am not happy. Please get me out of here.
Mr. Lyons, has ICE hired anyone who is charged with a crime related to the January 6th riot here at the Capitol?
Sir, I don't have that information, but I would say no.
Would you, could you find out and please report back?
Yes, sir, I'll get that. I'll take that as a get
Would
back.
you hire someone who attacked police officers here on January 6th, even though they were unfortunately pardoned by the president?
Sir, we take assault on law enforcement very serious, and we have a good, strenuous vetting program. I'm
All right,
sure.
thank you. Commissioner Scott, how many of your agents have been disciplined for excessive use of force over the past year?
I cannot comment on ongoing or
I'm not asking you to comment on
personnel
specific
action.
investigation. How many of your agents have been disciplined? I'm just asking for the total.
I'll
for
get that
excessive
number
force.
to you. I don't have it in front of me.
All right, I'd like you to view this video.
This is video of what appears to be pepper spray thrown by a federal agent into Rafael Verraz's car.
You okay, Mama? You okay?
Seconds later, he realized his daughter, 1-year-old Ariana, was in the back seat, also battling the chemicals.
Are you familiar with this incident?
Yes.
Okay. Now, this is a family of United States citizens who were out to get groceries at a Sam's Club in Chicago. When they arrived, they could see that there was a chaotic operation in the parking lot. They turned their vehicle to leave, at which point your agents sprayed pepper spray out of their vehicle and into the driver's side window of the Verraz's family vehicle. Is it proper procedure to aim pepper spray into the window of a moving vehicle?
I'm not familiar. I don't have all the details on this. It's an ongoing
I'm not asking about
investigation, but to answer your specific question,
Is it proper
we
procedure?
try to avoid that. No, it's not.
Try to avoid it. Because you understand it's dangerous, right? Not just for the driver, but for pedestrians, for other people who could be hit by a car if a driver is blinded, right?
I 100% understand that, but you're talking about intentional versus not intentional.
Well, now listen.
I've been in a vehicle in one of these situations.
Scott, reclaiming my time. From the
in my
video,
own
this
case.
was clearly intentional, and you know as well as I do that in any other law enforcement agency, if an officer did this, they would be put on leave, investigated, and likely disciplined.
A whole lot of people are going to jail when this regime is over. Let's move on. We got two more. I'm going to play two more. Jason, let's do, we're going to just do two more before we get to our next segment. I want you all to hear Congresswoman Delia Ramirez. She's a congresswoman from Illinois. And this is D2. She just laid waste to these kidnapping goons.
Mother, a Guatemalan immigrant and an American, taught me that I have a responsibility to look evil in the eye and to fight it back. Mr. Lyon, Mr. Scott, Mr. Edlow, you have used your power to perpetrate great evil. And it's about time you answer this committee for the lawlessness that you've empowered and defended in your testimony. Mr. Lyons, I want to start with you. And I want to talk about ICE. Because under your leadership, ICE has shot and killed Silverio Villegas Gonzalez and Renee Good, violated nearly 100 court orders in January alone. You've used banned chokeholds in more than 40 cases, engaged in warrantless arrests despite of a consent decree, and you used children as bait to put 3,800 children in detention. You created traps for people at immigration court who were following the law and doing it the legal way. And you broke the law by entering into people's homes without a judicial warrant in violation of the Fourth Amendment. Now, let's talk about you, Mr. Scott, and CBP next. Under your leadership, CBP has attempted to execute Marimar Martinez, shooting her 5 times and not releasing the footage that you should release so that we can see the evidence, murdered Alex Preddy, used chemical agents dozens of times in Chicago after a judge ordered you to stop, conducted warrantless surveillance and racial profiling, and acted with total disrespect and disregard for the law while engaging in roving patrols, plate switching, dangerous traffic maneuvers, and observer intimidation. Again, criminals act with that total disregard for the law and we continue to see it. You would both have us talk about respect for your mission and your agents. But your agencies are unaccountable, paramilitary forces, and I have just as much respect for you as I do for the last white men who put on masks to terrorize communities of color. I have no respect for the inheritors of the Klan Hood and the Slave Patrol. Those activities were immoral then and criminal, and so are yours. And that brings me to you, Mr. Edlow, and USCIS. Truly, USCIS is the most disappointing part of this whole panel for me. Mr. Edlow, let me ask you a question. Is USCIS's mission to uphold America's promise as a nation of welcome and possibility with fairness, integrity, and respect for all we serve? Yes or no? Is that the mission?
Congresswoman, the mission is to administer the lawful immigration
system.
system.
Let me move on. So it is not for the possibility of fairness, integrity, and respect. I get that. I want to tell you about Stephen, my constituent, Mr. Edlow. Stephen is a 14-year-old with autism who is seeking asylum. This child has spent 60 days in detention center after he was detained with his dad at a check-in. Let me ask you this. What kind of agency would strip asylum protections from children, even those with pending asylum claims, and deport minors without due process? You don't have to answer that. It's your agency, Mr. Edlow. You are doing that to Stephen, my constituent, an 8th grader. You have abandoned the mission and allowed USCIS to become a tool in DHS's abusive enforcement apparatus, Mr. Edlow. It is shameful to see what USCIS has become. As I've said before, DHS, ICE, and CBP, they're not really rogue. Congress designed DHS to violate our rights under the pretense of securing our safety. I'm gonna say it loud and clear, and I'm proud to stand by what I say. DHS cannot be reformed. It must be dismantled and something new must take its place. Because if we let DHS persist, it will continue to be a weapon that can be pointed at anyone the government considers the public enemy. And let me tell you, fascism always requires a public enemy. But the power of the people is stronger than the weapons they would wield against us. So Mr. Lyons, Mr. Scott, Mr. Edlow, you have weaponized the government. You have supported a fascist enterprise at the expense of our constitutional rights. You have violated the law. But let me remind you, you will not always be in power. One day, you will be held accountable for your role in this dark moment in America, in our nation's history. I guarantee it. And with that, Mr. Chairman, I yield back.
Wow, that was powerful. I wanted to play the whole thing because she was powerful. I'm going to play one more, and then we're going to move on. The last one that I want to play, Jason, is D4. This is Dan Goldman of New York, and he also was fire. Here is Dan Goldman.
In your opening statement, that references to ICE as the Gestapo or the secret police encourages threats against ICE agents.
100%.
The problem is you have it backwards, sir. People are simply making valid observations about your tactics, which are un-American and outright fascist. So I have a simple suggestion. If you don't want to be called a fascist regime or secret police, then stop acting like one.
The Democrats did a really good job in these hearings in the last 2 days. And I played you a lot of sound tonight because we get a lot of pushback about what are Democrats doing? Are they doing anything? Are they doing enough? Democrats have a limited amount of power. The one thing that they can do is they can be a part of these hearings. They can't even necessarily call the hearings because it is the majority that controls the floor. But when they are on these hearings, what we expect them to do is to give them hell, to give the fascists hell. And when I tell you the Democrats on these two committees have done an excellent job of that. And so so don't feel that the people you're voting for are doing nothing. They are doing some of the things that they could do. And this is one of the things that they are capable of doing, and they're doing it. So I want to commend them for that. We've put a mashup. It's about a 24-minute mashup of the hearings today, and I'm working on one for yesterday. We're going to post these on the Joy Reid Show channel so that if you want to just sort of watch it without the interregnums, just to see what the Democrats and Thomas Massie, I'm gonna give him credit too, we're going to do that. Let me give you a quick update before we move on to our next really fun segment. But I want to give you an update on the story we told you about Monday. Remember how Wes Moore and the governor of Colorado, the only Black and the only LGBTQ male governors in the country, were disinvited from this White House, it's the sort of National Governors Association meeting. Well, now the Democrats have said they will not be attending. Democratic governors have announced they will all, 100% of them, they're going to skip the White House dinner that the National Governors Association has already designated as no longer an NGA event. And so that is in reaction to Wes Moore and Governor Jared Polis of Colorado being disinvited. So everybody who reached out to your governors and demanded that they not attend, if you did that, you won. And that is how you win. You got to get people to be accountable. And people responded to their constituents' outrage that they would even think about going. So well done to everybody in all the chats, and big ups to everybody that's here. If you guys have not hit like and subscribe yet, you've got a big contingent watching on Substack right now, big contingent watching on YouTube. We appreciate each and every one of you. Altogether, you guys are like about what? You guys are almost 20,000 strong just watching live. That's pretty dope. So thank you all for tuning in. We are now going to do something a lot more fun. A lot more fun because it is almost Valentine's Day. And with the Valentine's Day coming, the love is in the air, but not just love. There are other things in the air too. And so accountability is also a thing that we can talk about as we head into Valentine's Day. Because the person who I do believe probably understands the most about love and accountability, in our view, is somebody who also understands heiferology. And so we are so excited to bring to you our amazing, great guest. And she is Miss Mattie J. Miss Mattie J, please come to the stage. Welcome.
Hey, Joy, how you doing, darling?
Oh, I'm doing so well, Miss Mattie J. Thank you for agreeing to come in and answer the love questions of the people in our chat. They are on fire for you right now. You are getting hearts and you are getting bouquets and flowers and all of the chats. But I want to start before we dig into our we got lots of questions. Yes. But I want to start by asking you in the way that only you really could understand, to just comment for just a moment on one of our favorite artists, Cardi B. She represents the good side of the Trinidadian. She's Dominican and Trinidadian, so we love her. Cardi B appears to maybe have broken up with her boyfriend, Stephon Diggs. They're sparking these breakup rumors after the Patriots wide receiver, the tough night at the Super Bowl, his team did not win. But apparently, one of his 4 baby mamas showed up at the Super Bowl with her child by him. He has 4 children by different women, including one from Cardi B. And then another friend of his, an Instagram model, she showed up with really great seats and was posting from there. And it feels like, there's a challenge there. Cardi B did treat herself to a $500,000 Audemars Piguet timepiece from Betty the Jeweler, who posted it on his Instagram. So she's living her best life. But what do you make of this situation? And do you have any love advice for the wonderful Cardi B? Because we want her to win at love. She's winning at everything else.
While I don't know a whole lot about these young rappers and things like that, but still she's a woman.
Yes.
And I'm pro-woman and wants to be able to give her some sound advisement. You understand what I'm saying? Where I'm resting in right now, the inner heiferology inside me, because men's can be heifers too. I want you to understand that.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so what's resting on me right now is that I think she needs to take a break. I think she needs to pull away from it. Is she the good, you said she the good side of Trinidad, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what I advise her to do right now is just to pull away. Just to take a break, the rest of her mind, everything, go make a rap song or something about just anything that come up in her mind frame. But right now, this too much.
Yeah.
This is too much.
It's a lot. It's too much.
It's a lot.
It's too much. It's a lot. Well, if you could just pull back for a moment, just to define, you said a man can be a heifer too. Define heifer for those who are unschooled in heiferology.
Okay. A heifer, in layman's terms, is somebody, and it just don't have to be from a perspective of sleeping around or nothing like being trash or nothing like that. A heifer is somebody who tried to do things in a divisive way. They don't mean you no good. They slick. They try to be slick, but they dumb in a lot of precepts. And they just try to, they worldly and try to be just this person that think they all on top of the game, but they ain't nowhere. They ignorant for one. And the men's, why I said men's can be helpers, is because they try to be in the game when we know the game. And because we really and true, the women's, we the ace of spades for real.
Amen.
And yeah, but they try to be slick and don't nothing, and they'll trick. That's what it is.
That's what
really,
it is.
In layman's terms.
In layman's terms. Now, I think that's important because the young people don't necessarily understand the heifer. You know what I mean? Like we know this coming from back in the day. We had to talk about the heifers.
Oh yeah.
So let me jump into some of these questions because lots of people needed advice and they wrote in. So there's a couple of the representative questions. So here is our first question from our first listener, and it said this here: if a heifer walks up to a table where you're eating and acknowledges your significant other, but not you when she knows you, do you give her the 5-fold or him a pair of pajamas? Oh, and he doesn't wear pajamas regularly.
See, Joy, this has happened to me on several occasions. When women's be disrespected, that's a classic heifer right there. Women's who disrespect the woman. And so the heifer at hand needs to be dealt with. First of all, she needs to know that you don't play. See, because she being disrespectful, she thinks you're going to be sitting there all pious and everything, and you ain't going to do that. For one, lady, sweetheart, listen good, honey. You let your husband see if he take care of it. If he don't handle it, then you ask the heifer at hand, say, excuse me, please, can we talk just a little bit outside? Can I just have some conversation with you? And you excuse yourself, baby, I'll be right back. I'll be right back. And you disappear from the scene and you clock that out. However, you know how to clock. If you know this, or you know this 5-fold ministry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and fold them, you use what works best for you.
Now, I can't help but notice your accessory. Can we talk a little bit about this? Because it's actually very fabulous, quite.
Oh, yes. Very blinged out. I had my jewelry maker, I've been knowing her name, Mindy Lou. Shout out to Mindy Lou from Montgomery, Alabama. The Gump.
Mindy Lou.
Yeah, Mindy Lou. And she is my jewelry maker. And she said, Mattie J, I think you need this is petite and you can hold on to it. And and when you get ready to pull it out, it ain't cumbersome or nothing like that. You can just have it situated between your fingers and things and just pull it out and do the damage.
Now, I hope you young people in the chats are paying close attention because listen, Mattie J is giving you all $1,000 $1 million worth of game for free on this here free moment. So let's go to the second one here. This is a good one. Hey, Miss Mattie J, how can you tell if a heifer has truly repented and retired, or if they are still a heifer in sheep's clothing?
Okay, I can answer that accordingly because I am a reformed heifer. I know the game because I done played it. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm a reformed heifer. And so how you can tell, because I'm reformed, is you don't play them heifer games no more. You don't play around with minions. You don't flirt and see a man cross the way and his wife or significant other is with him and you playing games and trying to attraction him and everything. You don't do that no more. You don't play them games. You be straight up and you be real with people. So you can tell a reformed heifer by her behavior because it's unheiferized.
It's unheiferized. Look, are you willing to share with us a story from your heifer days?
Oh, Lord, I'm going to share in discretion because my husband might be listening, Herman may be listening, and sometimes He get kind of moved when he hear about my past. But I'm gonna tell you one thing I did. I'm gonna tell you this. In fact, it's on my Facebook TV page. One time, back in the day, Mattie J wasn't always fluffy, baby. Mattie J, oh yeah, Mattie J was something to tell the preacher. And so I had on a bikini at the beach, and Herman, my husband, brought me home. I wore the whole bikini. In the car. I was sitting, he had a real nice sports car. And I wore the bikini home, and he had a ball game, and he let me drive his car with stick shift. And I got out the car with my bikini on, and he had his whole ball team outside, and I got up, baby, and I walked around. And that was real heiferosity right there, entirely. 100% heifer, because I wanted the men to see all of this deliciousness. And straight, they had their girlfriends out there too, and half of them I couldn't stand. And so I got up, Joy, and I just, slow motion, turn around, bump, let them see the bump on this side and the bump on that side, bump them. And girlfriends was mad. But they hot. I didn't care. I was a heifer. Out there heiferizing on the ball field. Yes, that's it. That's my story. I'm going to stick to it.
I love it. And now that you are a reformed former heifer and you're happily retired from heiferation and from doing heifer things, what is the secret? Because this is another question that we had that I think is very appropriate for going into Valentine's Day. What is the Mattie J secret to a long, prosperous, and happy marriage? The person who asked just got engaged and needs some tips.
Okay. First of all, you got to inquire of the Lord thy God. Said, Lord, I've been dating this man and things like that. And I just need to know if I'm supposed to be betrothed with him for the rest of my life. Because he be doing some ignorant things sometime, Lord, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to stand it. And Lord, this is what happened with me. And Lord thy God told me, marry that man. I got permission straight from the heavens. So with that, that means the Lord thy God knew something that I didn't know. And we were going to be together. Through thick and thin, through all the rainstorms and all that. And it happened like that. So the first thing I tell them, inquire if you believe in the Lord. That's if you believe. You ask him, Lord, is this man, is he mine for real? He'll tell you, because the word of the Lord thy God said, I will not have you ignorant.
Amen. 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 Hallelujah. Amen. Well, let's go on to our next question. This one I think is actually really good. This is from a good sister. This person has a brother who's got an issue, and she or he asks, how can I help free my brother from a hussy? And then there's a part B to the question. So how can I help free my brother from a hussy? And B, is a skank, pepperhead, or clanker top worse than a hussy?
Okay, number one, it ain't your position to free that man from anything. Because most of the time in them situations like that, the more you talk to him, the deeper he plunge himself into. Because he probably be type that like risky business. You don't know what it is that woman got that make him all succumbed to her advances. He making see that she a heifer, top heifer rising all over the nation and the neighborhood and the ball team. But baby, when them women's have that hook, can't nobody unhook them. Can't nobody but the Lord thy God. Your position, baby, is to pray. That's it. That's all you can do with him. Other than that, you're going to drive him further away from you. I'm telling you right now, that's Mattie J 101. Now, your part B is name what she said was what's the difference between the heifers and what is the other word?
So this person wants to know, is a skank a pepperhead, which I've never heard before, a clanker top, and is that worse than a hussy? And then I have to add, is a hussy the same as or worse than a heifer?
Okay, see, really all the other names I ain't. The only word that I am familiarity with is skank. Ooh, now see, difference between a heifer and a skank and a hussy in perspection. Them women's they do some sleeping around, and it be the kind of sleeping around where they don't be sleep, baby. They be working. A husband, I have put it on my page that a husband something else. Baby, she don't never get tired of doing what she do. See, Heifer just smart mouth and all that. They try to cause problems, things like. But a husband, baby, she listen. She say what she mean, and she mean what she say. And she, baby, you put your money where your mouth is. A husband put her mouth where the money is. Next question. Baby, I ain't fooling with y'all. This is the truth. Straight from here.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Please advise for
Joy,
the next,
you a
our next questioner says, please advise Ms. Mattie J on how you deal with a heifer running in and out of your husband's place of business, making up any excuse to go there, and adds already warned her and him.
Mm-hmm. Okay. See, we got to look at these preliminaries right here. First, she have a talk with her husband, because that's always what you do. You don't all the time go for the heifer, right? Because she could be getting permission from your husband. Understand what I'm saying? And you out there looking all foolish because you know he letting her have her way. So you talk to her and say, baby, listen, I don't like the heifers that's running in and out of your office. I'd like for you to do something about it. If you don't, then I'm gonna do something about it. And then when you say that, when you make threats like that, you got to mean it. You got to mean it. And please, my God, please know how to fight. If you don't know how to fight, baby, you messed up, because most heifers can fight. And so talk to them, say this is what's gonna happen. I'm telling you. And then if you still find out that the heifer's going in and out now, then you show up at the job and you sit up there and see, you know, if you're gonna be crazy, everybody ain't born crazy, but you're gonna be crazy, you're gonna have to be crazy. So you just sit up there in the office and she come in. Oh, hey, how you doing, darling? Okay, did we tell you that you cannot come back up here anymore? Okay, that's all right. That's okay. Don't even give a chance to answer. Clock that help. Clock her, don't that slow motion. Bam, knock her jaw and her glass up like that. Damaged heifer. Damage. You more likely she don't come back no more. Speaking from experience, Joe. I'm speaking from experience.
Oh my gosh. We have a note from the back that apparently pepperhand is a slang of heifer from the 1950s. Apparently, it is an old-fashioned term from the 1950s. Apparently so.
That new, baby. That must be some northern stuff. I'm from down south.
Okay, here's another one. Let's go to our next question here. And it says, how does a woman, this is a good one. How does a woman find love who is in her 50s? And this is the second part of the question. What do you think about places that I should be going, this questioner asked, that could potentially be good places to meet men? How do you feel about meeting men in nightclubs? Or is there any cool after-work nightclubs that they should be using? So what about women in their 50s that want to meet men in a club?
I would say to you, darling, that you're going on old precepts. You 50 now, not 50, you 50. And first of all, you're going to have to make sure everything is in perspective, everything is lined up the way it need to be. You done worked out, you look good and everything. And I ain't saying that this is a standard, but you want to have everything conditioned, because you don't know what kind of man you finna be up against. And especially, it's been a while since you've been, you know, in the company of a man. He may take your breath away. And what you need to be able to do is know how to handle yourself and things like that. Going to a club ain't it, because them young boys out there, and they looking for some cougarosity. That's what they doing. And they looking for, oh, absolutely. They want cougars and things like that. Take your paycheck, all your government check, all that check, every check that's being checked. That's what they want. You ain't got time for no young boys. You want you a seasoned man that know how to handle you and things like that. The young boys, they know how to handle you one way. Yeah. But you want the way of the Lord thy God. that he gonna provide for you, he gonna look after you, and he gonna care for you. So, baby, don't go to a club. I think you need to go to a library. You can go to the grocery store, the market, picking through your greens and things. Men and women done testify, looking through their greens and tomatoes and looking through there and everything. Then somebody look up, ma'am, can I squeeze your tomatoes? Excuse me? Well, sir, here's one. Let me see your grip. That's what you want to look for, too. If they can't grip nothing, if stuff's right out their hand, keep walking. So I don't need to see you, sir. I'll see you in tomorrow morning. I'm finna go over here to the mayonnaise section. Next question.
The same question.
You're a mess. You're a mess.
Got to check the grip. I got you. I'm taking mental notes. What about this person has also asked about what do you feel about women in their 50s who practice celibacy?
I think that's a wonderful thing. You got to be anointed by the Lord, thy God, to do it, though. You're going to have to been with the Lord. To be a kept woman, you got to been with the Lord, baby. You got to be with the Lord. And you can't be watching all these shows that come on. Used to, the nasty shows used to come on at night. Now they come on any time of the day. You can be cooking your grits and singing your hymn song and look up and, Lord have mercy. Jesus Christ, what? Lord, help me get and see you and you can't handle it. So you're gonna have to stay in your word, praying to the Lord and go, Lord, I want you to help me. Cause keeping all of that, because some of it is still alive and still vibrant. And so you're gonna have to, if you want to be a celibacy, you're gonna have to have a good relationship with the Lord thy God. Ain't nobody else that's gonna be able to keep you but him. Next question.
Let's go on to there was a caller, and it was a very long question, but I summarized it as follows. This young woman said that she is a divorcee, single, children have all moved out of the house, and is now seeing a gentleman. And it started off great, he seems like a good provider, seems like a good man, but she wants to know, when do you decide that it's the right time to move in together?
See, Joy, I'm old school. Okay. I'm old school. I just believe I may not be the right person to ask that question because moving in. Ain't no moving in. Do you see all of this, baby? You don't want to put a ring on it. You move in. We got to be under some kind of contractual agreement. I'm not moving in with nobody, my friend. You got your own place, I got mine. We see each other, whatever. But I'm not moving in with you, baby. Okay, because I already know that you don't want the cow if you continue to get the milk for free. Why would you buy into the cow? I wouldn't. If my neighbor was giving me milk and ground beef and steaks and things like that, then she asked me, hey, you just want to buy the cow? No. Why would I buy anything that I'm getting for free?
Amen. Amen.
That's me, though. I'm old school.
No, you're old school, and I appreciate it. I appreciate the old school. I have to ask you, Miss Mattie J, we enjoy you so much. You talk all the time about Herman. We feel like we know him too, just from your stories. Please tell us how you and Herman are going to be celebrating Valentine's Day.
Oh, Lord. See, let me tell you, Herman like to be a man of secrets. Now he does well. He plans things. He's a planner. I'll be at her. What you gonna do? What we gonna do? Just waiting at it. That's how he talk, got gravel in his throat. And just waiting at it. I'm gonna do it just because I'm impatient and I be wanting to know. I have no idea what the plans is. And I know earlier today, in that day, we gonna go to a sneaker ball with my good friend, Miss Tracy Williams. She got her thing going on. We gonna go to that. But the nighttime, when it's the right time, I don't know what Herman got up. He tricking out with his stuff, and I appreciate that. So I don't know. I can't even say I don't know.
Okay, and what would you do? Because you are, as you said, you are reformed heifer. You are now a woman of God. You are a heiferologist and try to advise the young women and young ladies to be able to act right. What would you do at this stage of your life, Miss Mattie J, if a heifer came for Herman?
Oh, Lord, help me, Jesus, help me, Lord. That hurt. That one hurt. Hold it. Hold it together. Okay. Jesus, help me. Help me, Lord. So, this happens a lot of times at the church. Church women, they be top heifers. Really true. Because it's more women's at the church than it is men's.
Fair.
And so Herman is a nice person. He's a gentleman. He will open the door for you. Say, hey, darling, how you doing? And things like that. And so there is attraction to, men's who practice chivalry and things like that. So what I does, because it didn't happen before, I typically let Herman, okay, because see, Herman know his wife. I don't play. I don't. And it has happened to me one time. We was at a party and this woman just up there, just coming on Herman. I was looking. Herman didn't know I was looking. And she was talking to him. I went up, stepped up to him, went to Herman, because Herman my husband. And so she kept talking. Joy, before I know it, I clocked her, Joy, and right here in her esophageal trail, right there, the voice box. Yeah. I clocked her. And she upchucked blood and water. And she water. Oh, Lord, you help me. And she had some coins in her hand. And she looked at the coin between the blood and the water separated. And she saw that it was 2 dimes and a nickel. And she said, I swallowed this when I was a little girl. Only thing is, she said, well, when I swallowed it, it was a whole quarter. Mattie J made change with that help. Slot sheet to change. There it is. Change, blood and water, 2 dimes and a nickel. Next question. That's what Mattie J do. I make change with you, darling. Don't you do that. Don't disrespect me. And I'm right here like you, I ain't here. Don't do that. Let me check my blood. But that took me back right there. Let me check my. Okay. All right.
Miss Mattie J, you are a national treasure.
Wow.
If you did not exist, we would have to invent you. I thank Jason for just stumbling across you on Instagram. I am obsessed. You are incredible. We love you, Miss Mattie J. Thank you for inviting us. Pre-Valentine's Day. I feel like heifer or non-heifer, they are all engaged. They are all prepared to face Valentine's Day as women of God and men of God and people of God.
Come on now.
Thank you very much. Listen, if y'all love Miss Mattie J as much as we love Miss Mattie J, and we love Miss Mattie J, you can find Miss Mattie J at Mrs. Mattie J, MRS.Mattie J on Instagram. Miss Mattie J, by the way, if you are a booker out there, yes, she is available to do this. And she's available for show bookings, events, personalized videos on Cameo. You can send an anti-heifer message to your friends or family members during Valentine's Day. And you can also get all of this goodness by going to www.mattiej.net, MATTIEJ.net. We're going to put it in the description of this program because we're obsessed with you. Thank you. Thank you, Miss Mattie J.
Thank you. I love you, Joy. God bless. Keep doing what you're doing, baby. Keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you. You keep doing what you're doing. Oh, Jason, we need a round of applause for Miss Mattie J. Baby, when I tell you, my stomach hurts. My diaphragm is a little sore from laughing. But look, people in the chat are saying they really needed this on today. This is the right way to head into Valentine's Day with all the bad news and all having to make y'all having to listen to Pam Bondi's horrific voice and her screaming Mimi attitude and her nastiness. We felt you guys needed something positive before Valentine's Day. So we decided we wanted to bring you one of our obsessions. And thank you, Mattie J, for answering my DMs. That is how we were able to track her down. And she is amazing. So please, all follow her go to MsMattieJ.net, and it's MattieJ.net. So it's www.MattieJ.net. Y'all need to, if you are not subscribed to Miss Mattie J on Instagram, you are missing it. She is a moment of joy every minute of every day. All right, let's let you guys know a little bit of housekeeping. A reminder that you all did such a great job. Thank you to everybody, by the way, who sent in questions to Miss Mattie J. We apologize if we couldn't get to your question, but we only have but so much time. And so we answered some of our questions. We are going to do this again. We love user participation. We love it when you guys get involved in the show and when we can include you. So your next opportunity to get involved is going to be for Black History Month. We are going to do a huge Black History Month special. It is going to run on the 20th of February, but we're going to give you up until this. Let's give you till the 16th. We'll give you right up until the 16th to get your questions in. Michael Harriot, the author of Black AF History, which we are putting in the store, so you can purchase your Black AF History if you want to get ahead of the game and read Black AF History. It's one of the best history books you've ever read. It has been on the New York Times bestseller list like 11 times since it launched. I think it came out like 2 or 3 years ago, but it just stays on the New York Times bestseller list. The great Garrison Hayes, who you all love, he's at Mother Jones, and does all of this incredible history content online. And of course, Ashley the Baroness, you've seen her. She does these great history explainers, and she is fantastic. And if people who are asking about Khalil Green, we did ask for Khalil Green, but Khalil's traveling. So Khalil is going to do something else with us when he gets back from traveling, because he's a young man, needs a break. So that was our third person that we really wanted to include, but Khalil will do some other stuff for Black History Month. We celebrate Black History Month around here on the Joy Reid Show. We believe that it is still worth celebrating and worth making sure that we are informing ourselves. And by the way, Black History Month is not just for Black people. It is for all Americans. It is American history that is inclusive of all of the things that we have contributed to this country. Don't let Pete Hegseth fool you. African Americans have contributed mightily to this country. There's so much that exists in this country that wouldn't exist at all were it not for the presence of Black people who survived enslavement, survived the Red Raiders of the Ku Klux Klan after enslavement, survived the redemption movement, and really created the culture that is the United States. The unique culture of the United States is inseparable from Black history. So, and I hate when people say, well, they gave us the shortest month of the year. No. Black people invented Black History Month, and it was invented to be in February. It was placed in February, not because February is short, but because Frederick Douglass's birthday is in February. So it was a creation of African Americans who decided to create a commemoration of Black history at a time when Black history was ignored altogether, when history books just pretended Black people only existed as chattel slaves, and had no other history and had no other import. People like Pete Hegseth trying to convince not just Black people to belittle us, but to convince white people, to convince Asian people, to convince Latinos that Black people just essentially did not exist in history as heroes, as inventors, as scholars, as academics, as anything other than chattel slaves, and that they should be grateful for that chattel slavery because it got them out of the beautiful continent of Africa. So instead of that, I got water right here. Let me go take a sip. And so we do Black History Month celebrations, not because we're trying to marginalize Black history from the rest of history, but because we need to emphasize these points of history, because all other history is essentially white history. What we get in our school systems, what we're taught at school, is everything about even Europe and nothing about the African continent and very little about ourselves. And the people who need to understand that are not just Black people, it is all people. So we include everyone in our Black history. We want everyone, whether you are white, Black, Asian, Latino, whatever your background is, feel free and comfortable to send your questions. If you're just curious about something, if there's something you thought, did they really do that? Did this really happen? Was this part of history accurate? Do I understand something? Use this as an opportunity to learn from 3 of the smartest people when it comes to history that you could possibly get the chance to talk with. The first hour is going to be all Michael Harriot. We're going to take a bunch of the facts from Black AF history. We're going to put them in all these cool categories. Like, did they really? We're going to make it really fun. And then hour 2 is going to be a great panel. Garrison Hayes and Ashley the Baroness. It's going to be fun. Put it that way. It's going to be fun. And just like we did with Ms. Mattie J, it is going to be all dependent on the participation of you guys who are in the chats right now, who are fired up. We need you guys to participate because this is our user participation model that we're trying to make sure. This is the difference between regular media and independent media. We can actually interact with you guys. We can actually chat with you. We can make you a part of the show, and it's a fun thing. What'd you say there, Jason? Oh, I thought you were saying something. This is the thing we love about independent media, that we're able to actually interact. We can see what you're saying in the chats. We can, oh, please.
What I was getting ready to say is that, since you was laughing so much in the last segment, your throat is dry. So definitely, because I was in here cracking up.
Jason was back there silently laughing, but I could hear him through the studio door. Miss Mattie J is so funny, y'all. We're going to definitely do this again and bring her back. But let us know in the chats if you want us to bring her back. She is amazing. She is so funny. And that is the best. She is the best. We love Miss Mattie J. She is so much fun. And y'all stay away from Herman. You don't want to get that beautiful rapier applied to you. She had that accessory in her hand. So if you know what I know, don't go near Herman like that. You can talk to him. You can be friendly to him and polite, but just make sure you're polite. Just be polite and don't get too extra. Miss Mattie J would deal with you because she's a former heifer. She said that's the most dangerous type of heifer is the retired one. The retired ones who know the game. She knows the game, and so therefore she can play the game. So we'll absolutely be bringing her back. So the email one more time is blackafhistory@thejoyreidshow.com, blackafhistory@thejoyreidshow.com. Send us your questions. Oh, okay, wait. Let me remind you guys one more time. Jason is telling me, just remind me. I have to remind you guys. I think you have one more week to go to vote for us for the NAACP Image Award in Best News category, in the Best News Podcast category. There is the cute little QR code right on the screen. If you want to put your phone up to that, you can go ahead and vote for us. If you've not voted already, we would truly appreciate your vote. We're just, you can vote. Jason said you can vote once a day. It's not like regular elections. You can actually just keep on voting. So, go ahead and vote. You can make a difference in elections because look at the candidate that we had on today, Analilia. That is voter participation. Look at what you all did. All of you out there in the public, not just those who watch this show, who reached out to your governors and said, you're not going to that White House event. And voila, the pressure was felt. And I think Democrats are clearly feeling the pressure from their base that is saying, we want you to fight. You saw all that footage that I showed you guys of the way that Democrats are moving in this moment. They're realizing that their base does not want performative politics, but they want a fight. And so the part that they did is part of the performance. Yes, you have to perform because you can't force Pam Bondi to comply with the law, but you can bring receipts. Ted Lieu did an excellent job of bringing receipts. Everything that happens in Congress is kept in something called the congressional record. Everything that everyone says in that sworn testimony, they have to raise their right hand and swear to tell the truth. If you lie, that is actually a felony. It's a crime to lie to Congress. People are talking about Michael Cohen. I interviewed Michael Cohen earlier today on Substack. The thing he got in trouble for was lying to Congress. You can't lie to Congress. You have to tell the truth. And so each of the things that Kash Patel has said in Congress, each of the things that Pam Bondi has said in Congress, if those turn out to be lies, maybe not tomorrow, maybe not next week, maybe not next year, but at a certain point, there will be a new Department of Justice that will actually be a real Department of Justice. And guess what? Accountability can come for these people at any time. So if I was Kristi Noem, if I was Pam Bondi, if I was Kash Patel, if I was Stephen Miller, Tom Homan, this dude who runs ICE, if any of these guys, right? This guy who runs CPB, these guys look sharp because you may need to lawyer up. Because one of the reasons we study history and the reason we care about history is that we see how history goes. And the way that history is generally preceded is that fascist regimes fall, empires fall. No empire has survived. The British had an empire, gone. The Persians had an empire, gone. American empire, thanks to Donald Trump, done. Japan, the Empire of Japan, these countries, all of these nations that had empires, the great African kingdoms, gone. Right, the United Kingdom, the sun was never supposed to set on the British Empire. It set. And fascist regimes, South Africa, fascist regime, gone, and each of these will fall as well. And so as much as we say scary is caring, and we try to keep you guys, keep it serious, and we tell you all the bad news, we always want to balance it with history and hope, because history is here to help, and history is here to give you hope. Because the way that history generally proceeds is that fascist regimes go down, and they go down hard. And so each and every one of the people in this Trump regime that is participating in fascist behavior, just know that page is going to turn. When that page turns, y'all might need to get yourselves some lawyers. Because as Ms. Mattie J said, the Heifers don't win. The Heifers might just get the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that includes fascist Heifers too. Thank you all for tuning in. We will see you on Friday. And let me let y'all know, on Friday, we are definitely going to talk about this Savannah Guthrie's mom situation. I've been trying to get to it every show, but we just keep running out of time. Yeah, we're going to talk about this Savannah Guthrie situation. It's wild. It's wild. And we're going to talk about it on Friday. Y'all make sure that you wrote down all those Miss Mattie J tips so that you guys can be ready for Valentine's Day, because that's coming up this weekend. Love you guys. Thank you for watching. Hit subscribe and like. And we'll see you on Friday.
Getting back to the basics, grassroots level. Let me dig a little deeper with the shovel. Plenty can't tell the forest from the trees, and I'm hard to detect, like a black hole in the dark. Injustice anywhere, it's a threat to justice everywhere. Let me make this clear, I got a bone to pick, and I'll never fear the threat of poverty. They don't want to talk about it, they rather party, so I'm a real talk about it, for sure.